Hey guys, welcome to Inktober, day 1. If you're joining me to create some art, welcome. Also, if you just want to watch, please. This is going to be a little bit rough because I haven't been on YouTube in a while. Basically, I wanted to try to make that my challenge this month, to try to keep up a daily vlog. We'll see how it goes. I really love Inktober. It's one of my favorite events of the year at this point. I've been doing this since 2015, and each year it's entirely different from the year before. I think my most successful one, the one I got the furthest on, which is to say I got all of them done, was the year before last, when I finally said, you know what, enough is enough, I'm tired of failing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a story. So I did a retelling of Hansel and Gretel through an old Gretel's perspective in like the beginning of America. So like this old colonial woman is telling her son about how in the old country her brother and her got into some trouble with a witch. So I found out that not only could I not tell this story in the amount of pages that I wanted to make, but they could tend to get a little bit on the complicated side. However, because I planned it so far in advance, I was able to draw out everything I wanted to draw, make up some bogus prompts based on the drawings that I had already drawn, and then hold on to those until Inktober started. Then I could just ink them and post them. And that was actually really fun. I enjoyed myself. The rush wasn't there. I was able to get up in the morning, hear the birds chirping, pull out my inks, and just make some art before work. So last year I was too busy, I didn't do anything, but I promised myself that this year my big challenge would be to make it into a vlog. You know, I would post one piece a day accompanied with some kind of video format because I am terrified of video editing. But I promised myself I would do it, and so this is kind of the kick in the pants that I needed. Yeah. So sorry that you have to be a part of that, but here we are. So, there are a few other little hacks to make this particular character, JJ, who, by the way, he was a background character in Hansel and Gretel, and people seem to really like him, so I brought him back for this webcomic I started doing called ROSEBOUND, and I enjoyed drawing him so much. Like, he gave me so much satisfaction that I was like, I'm just gonna keep drawing him. I'm gonna make the whole month about him. Because the challenge this month, for me, is the video editing. So I'm not gonna get too fancy, I'm not gonna get crazy with the drawings. But yeah, like, I think we've all seen those videos where they're like 5 tips to do a better Inktober, 10 tips to be successful this year. But basically they all kind of boil down to, you know, the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid, plan ahead. But I would also like to add it like a couple more. My tips to make things simpler is to 1, pick a unifying theme. For me, it just makes it easier if everything is built together like a unit, instead of a bunch of random assortment of images, to be like, okay, well, these are all going to go together in a collection at the end of this, whether it's through an Inktober book, in which case everything should be in the same style, or if I'm going to, make a sequential story, or if the hook is that they're all going to have one spot of color and it's going to be the same color. I think for Mermaid, my big thing was that they all be watercolor, which was crazy. Don't do that. Last year, this year? Maybe it was last year, I have no idea anymore. Time is relative. I tried to make coloring books out of mermaids, and that was a little bit easier. So it really just depends. But yeah, for me, keep it simple. The simpler it is, the more likely you are to accomplish it. Especially with a marathon like this, you don't want to sprint out of the gate. So if you do 1 or 2 big pieces, that's fantastic. If you have the time to do a ton of beautiful pieces, go for it. But I would counsel you, especially if you're new, to make sure that your first 1, 2, 3, or 4 are very... Oh my gosh. Yeah. I get really excited about water, and then this happens. Sorry. Okay. I completely, I threw myself off. I forgot what I was talking about. It's something about keeping it simple. Oh yeah, especially at the beginning. You want to make sure that you're keeping things simple for yourself, that you have sort of a win before you continue on. because like you cannot overemphasize keeping things simple for yourself at the beginning, especially because the idea of doing something every day is that you will grow. So you want to pick one thing to challenge yourself on, but only one. If you pick too many things, you're also setting yourself up for failure. So for me this year, obviously, it's the video editing that's going to be the challenge. So I don't want to try to impress myself with like really complicated backgrounds or any of the things I struggle with necessarily. I'm going to go really easy on myself. JJ's world is surrounded by magic and nature, so it makes things really easy for me to draw within my comfort zone. If I want to draw technology or challenge myself with, what else am I bad at? It's just so much technology. It's like cars. I can't draw cars. I mean, I can draw cars, I just hate it. So like, if that's the case, then I just make sure to give myself a different drawing challenge in that vein at a different point in time. I'm not going to try to double up. You don't have to learn everything at once. Another thing that I do to make things easier on myself is I focus on the size. This works with life drawing too. If you find that you spend too much time drawing the model and everybody else is done before you, yeah, there could be a few reasons, but one of them for me is that I'm drawing too big. If I draw very small, I can't get too bogged down in the details, and it helps me a lot with the gestural part of figure drawing. So with characters like this, and with ink in general, I can get a little bit crazy with detail. And even on this one, I did not mean to put so much detail into the background at all. The idea was just to draw JJ. Now I have to like unify all of it together. I have to make it feel like he's in the setting. It's a whole thing. For me, I find that working smaller is just better for speed, it's better for detail. I mean, there are, of course, really good times to work large, but when you are on a deadline like this, it's best to split a page in half, or work on a 4x6, or one of those little square tiles, which is great for Instagram posts, or even an ACEO. Something that's manageable that you can knock out in about an hour will definitely help. Not that you have to do it every time, but like, it's good to have a few cheat days where you can just do something smaller, make it work, make it fast, and then you're done and you feel good about it. Another one that helps me is to plan ahead. So with this guy and with all of my others, I draw ahead of schedule everything that I'm going to need so that I don't have to come up with an idea every day. That is the hardest and the longest part of this challenge. Those are kind of my ideas. Keep it simple, make the size smaller, pick only one challenging thing, try to find the unifying element, and plan ahead. Those are kind of how I got to this point. I'm not really pleased with this piece. Obviously I didn't plan far enough ahead because I did not plan on doing anything with the water, and then I started and I didn't like how it looked. Like, it doesn't look like water and it couldn't quite be fixed how I wanted it to. Like, a gel pen isn't going to save it at this point because of the wash. So, you know what? Just let it go. No, let it go. You're done. You signed your name. You're going to move on to the next one now and let this one die. It's day one. It doesn't matter. On day 31, you're going to look back on this and be like, look how much I improved. So you don't have to make this one perfect. Just let it dry. Okay, now I'm done. All right, have a good day, you guys. Bye.